I'm Harry, and this is Drum Electric. So I decided to do something slightly different to my normal videos, and I'm actually going to now start breaking down the process of having a song, figuring out the drum part, getting the samples from that drum part, and then recreating it. So just really quick before we get into this video, if you'd like all of these samples and everything that I'm using in this video, feel free to sign up to my Patreon page where you get all of the samples every single time I make one of these videos and the full drum playthrough, because sadly there's some tracks that I can't upload to YouTube because copyright's our favorite thing in the world. Or if you'd prefer just to have a one-off purchase, then you can just buy the sample pack for the same price on the website. All the links are in the description. Anyway, let's get into it. So the track, Baby One More Time, Britney Spears. Oh yeah, I thought that was a great way to start. I mean, come on now. So I'm going to try and play as much of this as possible on YouTube without it freaking out on me. So the first thing that I do whenever I get a song like this, or I'm requested to do something like this, which is recreate the drum part for a live situation, I Google the stems. Yeah, it's the first thing I do. So let's do that. Hello Google, my best friend. Britney Spears, Baby One More Time, stems. That's a good start. What's this first one? Stems but download link. What's this Dropbox link gonna take me to? This is the risky business of doing finding stems. Ooh. Okay. Okay. I think we might be on a winner here. Let's go lead vocals.
But something wasn't right.
But something was right. Nice. That was my impression. All right, I'm going to use them. They're going to be good. So I'm going to download them, and I'm going to import them to Ableton, like a reasonable gentleman. That was really, really easy, actually. And now, obviously, that's not going to happen every single time I do a track, and it often doesn't happen. The only reason why I find the stems is because usually you can break apart all of the stems, and you can find all of the things within there. It sounds like we still have the full drum track, so we need to actually still find the samples, which is quite good, but it just gives that extra element of now we can just listen to the drums on their own, rather than having to listen to the full track and try and break it down amongst everything else. So this kind of just gives us a little stepping stone. It's not quite all the way, but at least it's some of the way. We're in Ableton. Let's go on to arrangement view because we're not monsters. Let's just delete that. I'm going to find my stems. Just going to drag them in, holding command, and that means they all go one above each other. So all right, again, if you'd like to check out the full version of that, link to the Patreon in the description. Thanks, YouTube. So step one, because I'm going to be playing along to this, is actually putting it to a click track. Now I'm going to whiz through this section because the whole point of this video is just purely to get the samples and recreate the drum track, not a click track. But you don't have to do the stage if you don't need to. So my next trick, again, going to the old interwebs, songbpm.com. Oh yeah, this is where all the secrets coming out in this video. Baby One More Time. There it is. 93 BPM. Yeah, if you ever need that website, really good. 93 beats per minute. Let's see what happens if I just do that. I'm only going to solo the drums, because if the drums are in time, everything's in time, and also because I want you to hear as much of this as possible. Now I remember this track being like, it's not 100% on time. It's one of those things where it's like, you know what? Nah, whole numbers, not about that. Here in the year 2000 and something. Anyway, 92.9. All right, that looks better. Ooh, it's slightly off. Okay, I'm just going to Command A, drag that back. Oh no, I can't, can I? No! I need to put a bar of time at the beginning. I wonder how many people that really know Ableton are like, why is he doing this? You're welcome. Oh, that's looking better. So I'm just scrolling through, looking at the waveforms. Okay, we might have something here. You only get to hear that much, YouTube. Quality! There we go, that's in time. So the tempo, 92.9, because of course it is. Let's start recreating that drum track. So now we've got it lined up to a click, like I said, only just so I can play along to it. What can we hear? The drums, I'm going to play. Oot, cut, oot, ska. So that first note, you've got this guitar line, that really high pitch, wow, 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 or a cat. So that's the first thing I hear straight away. The second thing is that breath, which the only way I can think about recreating that is literally breathing in. About there. I'll do that in a minute. That's literally what I'm going to do. The la, what else? So we've got the guitar thing, the breathing thing. Oh, you've got like a finger symbol, like a ting. in there. I think the last thing is just those hi-hats, these. Those sound like pitch-shifted 808 hi-hats. I could be wrong. There is processing on like the kick and snare as well. Like that snare sounds like a couple of like, and it cuts off really quick. So that's either a really heavy gate or a layered snare. It's really like thuddy. I'm not going to worry too much about that because that's the part that I'm actually going to play on the acoustic kit. Whereas all the rest of it, I want to recreate. So the first thing I'm going to do, create an audio track. Hilariously, this might be one of the first times I'm recording into Ableton. Breaths. Here we go. Okay, so the input, I like to go into session view when I do this because it looks like a big old mixer, which I like. So audio in from external in, input 1. I'm going to change my buffer size because I've got a fat Mac. I can do that. That's 64, baby. Nice. Okay. In. We want input on breaths, which is good. Solo that. I can hear myself now. What I want to achieve the... About there? Let's go about there. Let's see what happens. I'm going to try that. That's what I'm going to do. See what that sounds like. That first one is good. Let's listen to these as well. Nah, the first one's the best one. Who'd have thought you'd click on a YouTube video today to listen to a gentleman breathing? Right. And then, all I literally want to do, boink. Yeah, oh yeah. Now we're cooking. I'm just demoing a bar. I know I can loop this, but I'm just gonna... That's really like, come on, breathe faster. Come on now. So I'm just going to nudge that forward a skiddly poot, which yes is a technical term for moving that forward. That's better. Make that really quick. Cut it off at the end. I could do this with gates and things like that, but for now, this is the easiest, most logical way I can think of in my own brain. Here we go. Like, you loop that round and round and it should be all right. Yeah, it's intelligence. So all I'm going to do then, I'm literally just going to export audio/video, export that. Okay, so we now have our breaths. I've got them as a sample just to loop round and round and round. What else do we need, magical thing? That guitar part is going to be the hardest bit because I have no idea how to recreate that. Oh well. So I think it's just the hi-hats at the end, that finger cymbal, and then the guitar sound. A little part of me wants to put that like... on the snare. Let's see. I'll be quick to you because I can edit this. So many. Snare fat 1. Surely. It's all in the name there, isn't it? Ooh, close. I'm going to use that and I'm going to find a clap sound as well to go with that. I want a really gentle clap. Nah, too reverby. Nah, too reverby. Ooh, that might do. Too reverby. I'm going to go clap 3. Because then we can combine them both. And it might sound cool, might not, but I'm willing to take that risk. So that's the snare drum. We need to find that little ting sound. Again, if you want all of these samples, you can download them in the file that's available. Link is in the description. Finger cymbals, that's exactly what we want. This is the hardest part about doing any song ever. It's just finding the samples. I might be able to pitch shift that. I'm gonna try it, everybody. So I'm gonna copy that, plop that into there, plop that into there. I hate how it sounds like I'm literally pitch shifting up the triangle. I mean, that is exactly what I am asking it to do, but I don't want it to do that. I want it to pitch shift the triangle. Why is that so much to ask? There might be one on the Pro. We'll find out in a second. Okay, what else do we need? The last thing is those hi-hats. Let's find those hi-hats. Hats! It'd be really funny if it's just a picture collection of a bunch of different hats. That's a nice hat, sir. Right, Control-C, Control-V, drag this into here, loop that bad boy, solo that bad boy. It's still called breaths, but we're going to move past that. I didn't loop it, but I did solo it. What pitch does it need to be? Let's move it over here. That really low, wow. The reason I'm moving it over here is so I can reference it to the other hi-hat sound. That's all I'm doing. I mean, it's close enough, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to export that bad boy. Where I'm not quite using the same hi-hat sound, it hasn't got that girth to it that the original one does. But I'm hoping, as I play it on the kit in a second, that you won't notice. Okay, I think that's everything. That's breaths. Can't find the guitar wow at the beginning, so I'm just going to have to... But we've now got the hi-hats, the breaths, that's now going to be on a loop. We're going to hopefully find that triangle sound on the SPD-SX PRO, because that's just got a stupid amount of samples. I'm hoping it's in there somewhere. Did I say the hi-hats? Oh yeah, and the snare, where we've got that layered clap sound, where I'm just going to use a trigger to try and do both. So the next step now, putting all of that on the kit behind me. Let's figure it out, see what happens. Okay, so we've got the kit. Now, I need to put triggers on this to recreate Britney Spears. Over here, this SPD-SX PRO. Grab that. Check that it is actually the thing. It says SPD-SX on it, but I'm a liar. There it is, SPD-SX PRO. Now, with that, let's try and find them. These are the PD8s, which are really nice. So these things can go. So these obviously mount upon, how fancy. These mount on cymbal stands, so it's gonna be super easy to use, and it means I can do it that way. Now, what I'm thinking is that this now means, if I sit in the light, I'll look better. This now means those two high open hi-hat sounds, I can have them on the PD8s, and then I'll have a snare trigger, which I've already got on there, which is this guy here. At the moment, it's the dual, and that's just going into the TM2, which is very dusty, but that will actually then be replaced with the SPD-SX PRO that will contain this PD8. I think I'll have two of these, one here, one in this gap here, the TM2 for the snare, and I think that should be, in theory, enough. Hopefully, because that'll be those two cymbals. I'll put the finger symbol, the ting, I'll put that on the actual SX itself. I just prefer hitting external pads, it feels more natural. What else do we need? That, and that should be it. So I'm now gonna set that up. I think we're onto something here. So off camera, I've got the SX PRO. Then I've actually got two triggers on the snare drum, which is a little bit offensive. But one of them, the dual trigger, is going into the TM2. That's purely for recording. And then the second one, the single trigger, that's what's triggering my clap and snare sample as well. There's a lot going into it, but there you go. And then I've got two PD8s, one just in front of me here, and then one to the right. That's purely just for like playing wise, so I can go when I hit those open hi-hats. It felt nice there, so whether it will on a second one actually play it, who knows, but that's where they are. And then the last part is obviously that ting sound, which is just literally going to be on the top of the SPD-SX PRO. I like using the bars at the top just because I can just throw my hand and hope that I hit it, and 9 times out of 10, I do. That 10th time though, both painful and really annoying. So anyway, that's what I've got so far. Now it's time to load up the SX PRO and all the samples upon it. I'm just going to do this with the Pro's Wave Manager, but also if you haven't checked out that video, feel free to check it out up there, where I just really quickly go through the SX Pro's Wave Manager. For now though, this is what's going to happen. I'm just going to load data and start the app. I'm just going to rename this to my Britney kit. Where's my sample suit? There they all are. Hi-hat, high-low, triangle. It's got .asd, which is just literally the Ableton sample thing. I never really looked into what that does. There's probably a lot of people, again, watching this video that know what that does. I'm not one of those people yet. So, there we go. Tag name edit. User tag. What I might do is just literally put that as Britney kit, and then close that, so then I can just tag one Britney kit, and do that for all of these. And that then means I can literally just go Britney kit, and they're all there. I like to do that, but also it's quite nice to, if they're just generic sounds, then it's nice to load them into claps and stuff like that. So, thinking of the kit, let's do the snare drum thing first. So in trigger 1, I'm gonna do that as, what was that, clap and snare, wasn't it? Layer A, I'm gonna have snare 1, and then layer B, I'm gonna have clap 3. So that's trigger 1. Then I want, so trigger 3, I want hat low in just to layer A, layer B can be off, and then I presume that's trigger 5, because of course that's hat high, just layer A, layer B is off. Now the reason why they're in 3 and 5 is because these are actually dual triggers, the PD8s, you can do the rim and the center. I'm just going to be using them as a single trigger, but they are going through a dual cable just to make life a little bit more complicated for myself. And the last thing, pad 3, is that triangle. Now I'm going to try and find a new triangle, because I didn't like that triangle, but I'm going to put that triangle on there anyway, layer B off. Now the last thing I want to do actually is the breaths. Now that's a loop. I'm going to do the bottom right pad, pad 9, which is this one here, and that's just purely because I want that to be a loop on one shot. Actually no, I want that to be an alternative, so I can turn it off, no dynamics, fixed velocity is just full. That should be, in theory, fine. And that should basically means when I play it, it just loops, because that's what I want it to do, because the rest of the kit I'm going to play. So, I'm going to unplug this, and then I'm going to play the kit and hope, which is the best that we can do really in this situation. I'll see you there. I did pretty well. for the first video of this series, that wasn't too bad. There's a couple of little bits I'd like to change, like the hi-hat sounds weren't quite right, the mix on the drums not quite the same, but if I were to take that to a live show and play that live, I'd be pretty happy. Britney Spears, if you need a drummer, I've got your back, bro. Anyway, if you'd like to see the full run through of me playing along to the actual official song, and you'd also just like to grab the whole sample packs that I use in this video, then feel free to head over to the Patreon page, patreon.com/drumelectric, or if you'd prefer just to buy the sample pack that I'd made in this video, then you can also do that by heading to the link in the description. If you have any song requests that you'd like me to look at in the future or give a try, then please lob them in the comment section down below, and apart from that, I hope you have a fantastic day.